No loops. Hello, real estate rock stars. Hannah's here, and our coach Jim Steele is joining us today from Florida. Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great despite of the travel hiccups I had. Yesterday, I
Uh,
went to LA to participate on Brendon Bouchard's coaching event. I think now more than ever, coaching is extremely important. However, I would like to touch on a really hot topic, which frequented yesterday the circle of my friends in LA, and it was all about NAR lawsuit. So those who
yeah.
don't know need to know, and that's why I've asked you to come on Rockstars live jam session and shed some light into a situation. What's going on?
Okay. So basically, what has happened is for the last 4 years, the Department of Justice brought a lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors, REMAX, and a couple of other large firms. The firm that owns Coldwell Banker and a couple of other brokerages. And they basically said that their whole lawsuit was based on a conspiracy that we as agents had all conspired together to keep commissions high, and basically that's a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act, and that's what the whole lawsuit was about. So it's been taking 4 years for it to wind through the courts and things and such. Well, yesterday in Kansas City, it definitely came to a head, and the verdict came in that the National Association of Realtors, Keller Williams, and Berkshire Hathaway were guilty. Like, we got busted, to the tune of $5.3 billion. I mean, this was serious. So the suit itself,
Quick question. In the
yeah.
articles, what I read, it only said 1.8 billion. Where do you
Okay,
get
I'm glad
this?
you asked that because yes, the initial lawsuit was 1.78 billion, whatever it was. But there's a little known thing that because it was an antitrust lawsuit, it they treble it. Now, I didn't know what treble meant. I thought they were spelling triple wrong when I read the article, but it was raised to 5.3 billion. That's the punitive damages part. So the 1.7 billion was what they were suing for.
Okay.
That's what they were asking for. But the additional, taking it up to 5.3 billion, was the punishment, was like the punitive damages. So the total is $5.3 billion. I
I
mean, this
can't
is
comprehend
massive.
that number. Like,
It's massive. Now, what I want to tell all the agents watching is immediately after the verdict came in, within 20 minutes after, the plaintiff's attorney, whose name is Michael Ketchmark, he is absolutely a villain to realtors going forward. You will learn to hate that name. But Michael Ketchmark immediately filed suit against 7 other brokerages, including EXP, Compass, Redfin, Howard Hanna, and a couple of other ones. Weichert Realtors is another one. So he filed 7 additional lawsuits. Once this verdict came down, that the NAR was found guilty of conspiring to keep commissions high based on, and I'm going to tell you straight up, Hannah, that that was the weakest, softest, you know, defense I've ever seen. The NAR just rolled right over and just let
wow,
them do it,
that is
because
absolutely incredible. So if the attorney had immediately filed several lawsuits, what will stop the rest of the attorneys in the USA doing the same? Because they already have a precedence.
exactly, now
Look
that
at
the
that.
precedent's set, it's going to explode. There's going to be many more companies. So here's what's going to happen to us as the daily agents. You know, what are we going to deal with?
Yeah.
First of all, nothing. Business will not change right away. Okay.
Okay.
Here's why. The NAR appealed.
Okay.
Keller Williams and Berkshire Hathaway immediately appealed the ruling. So it took 4 years to get to this point. It's going to take 4 more years, maybe 6 or 7 years,
Okay.
to get to the appeal, just to get to the appeal. So
So,
it's going to
so
drag out for a while.
nothing can happen retroactive?
Listen, I'm
Or we are not
expected to be,
attorneys, right? This is not an advice we are giving, by the way.
yeah,
We are
they're not,
just
in
shocked.
other words, money's not changing hands yet because they immediately
Okay.
appealed the decision.
Okay.
So that's why I said nothing officially, like on paper, from a legal standpoint, is going to happen. But here's what will happen. The brokerages are scared.
Yeah.
I mean, 5.3 billion, that just left a mark on Keller Williams and Berkshire Hathaway. I don't care how rich Warren Buffett is. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they will very quickly, you're going to see brokerages roll out some kind of response to this. And it's going to most likely be in the form of hyper disclosure,
Yep.
where you're going to give that seller the option, make sure they know that they have the option to not have to compensate the buyer's agent. I've already seen it here in Tampa. We saw a listing the other day. It was paying out $10 to the buyer's agent. It was listed in the MLS like that. We're going to give you
Hold on,
$10 to sell this house.
Wait a minute. I don't really understand that. That's not a commission you can live on.
No, it's terrible. And again,
Happening
it might
to
as
the
well be
buyer's
zero.
agents.
And I'll tell you why. The only reason is the MLS in our area is called Stellar MLS. And Stellar has a rule, and this is also part of the lawsuit, and this will go away probably very quickly. I'm guessing in the next week they will change this policy. But they have a policy where if you don't pay out anything to the buyer's agent, it cannot go on MLS.
Okay.
They will not let you put it on MLS without some kind of compensation to the buyer's agent. So they put $10. Here you go, $10. There you go. There's your compensation. Now, here's going to be the thing. Many people, this was the first, this morning in the Wall Street Journal, this was the top headline. Is the National Association of Realtors found guilty of conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. You know, the world's going to end. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. We're terrible. This is horrible. Everything's going to be so terrible, right? They know about this, they being the sellers. Unless they're living under a rock in the last 48 hours, they know what happened. So they're going to say, I don't have to pay the buyer's agent now. And you're going to run into this as agents, you guys, when you go out to go list a house. Don't be surprised if the seller says, you know what, I saw the lawsuit, I don't got to pay the buyer's agent, I'm not going to.
Wow.
Okay, Mr. Customer, that's fine. However, you have to understand that they don't have to bring you their buyer. There's no rule saying they have to come here. There's no law in place saying if they see it, they have to come and show it. And I will tell you what will happen, Hannah. I mean, I know is, you know, there's a lot of agents that are going to say, not going to do it. Don't care if I'm supposed to or not. I'm not going there for $10. And they will tell their client the house is haunted or the neighbor's a serial killer, you know, or something like that.
There was discovered a dead person. Dexter is your neighbor.
Exactly. They're going to tell you something because they're not going to want to waste their time for $10. And I don't blame them because that's insane. That's insulting. That's ridiculous.
Well, it is because, you know, that's totally impossible. Why would you even consider that? However, it opens a door to like lowballing agents, you know, those who will work for a flat fee. So that's something what agents must be aware of, or what other strategy you would consider.
Yeah. One of the other things you want to keep in mind too is a lot of agents that I've seen on social media and different forums, YouTube and so forth, they're saying, great, get rid of NAR. We don't need NAR anyhow.
Huh.
That's their stance. They want the NAR to fold. They want the National Association of Realtors to go away.
Wow.
So what would happen if that happened? All right. First of all, you wouldn't be able to call yourself a realtor. That word is trademarked. That word belongs to the National Association of Realtors. And the only people who, oh yeah, probably 50 years ago or something. I don't know how long. It's been that forever. So what will happen is you can't call yourself a realtor. You're going to be a real estate agent, just like everybody else.
Okay.
But the biggest thing that the National Association of Realtors brings with that realtor designation is the code of ethics.
Yeah.
And the code of ethics is a big deal. That makes sure that we have policing for agents, that it's not just the wild, wild west. They can go do whatever they want to do. Because let's be honest, there are some by some, I'm talking about a large majority of agents should not be in this business. And this will clear them out. We'll be rid of those. So goodbye to them. The professionals will last. The shady, scummy agents, they'll be gone. And we won't miss them. We'll say goodbye to them.
Yeah, totally.
But if the code of ethics was gone, if the NAR folded, there's no laws. There's no rules to tell us to treat each other with respect on public forums, like on social media. There would be no code of ethics violation.
But also the homeowners, home sellers would suffer because
of course they would. They would suffer.
You need certain level.
But see, this is the thing. It's a money grab. All right. So there was 500,000 plaintiffs in Missouri who started this. This was the Sitker-Burnett trial, and the one that just ended with the guilty verdict. So these 500,000 people, all of them used a realtor. They used a realtor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now they're mad about it. 5, 7, 10 years later, I got ripped off by that realtor and I want all my money back. No. See, you got the benefit of them searching for the house for you, helping you with the inspection, helping you with, the lending and stuff like that. They helped you with all this stuff, but now you're all indignant about you paid too much commission. So we don't want to compensate these agents.
And the commission is known up front when the homeowners
absolutely.
Are signing listing presentation.
Every single one of those 500,000, 100%, Hannah, every single one of those 500,000 people signed and agreed to a listing agreement. Every single one of them.
And
so what is this? What precedent is this setting?
Yeah.
Exactly. What precedent is this setting? That contracts are worthless? You know what? I signed a contract. I don't want to honor it anymore. I'm out. I decide I'm going to sue the person I signed a contract with, so I don't have to pay them. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. And here's the thing. Listen to this. You know why they brought this, right? Money. Because
of course, always follow the money. Always follow the money. Yeah, there was some hungry, mean attorney who just had the idea. Why
this attorney, this Ketchmark clown? I'm sorry if you know him. He's probably a nice guy, but I think he's a clown. But this Ketchmark guy, his percentage was 40% of $5.3 billion. That's over $700 million is his cut.
Wow.
Now, again, I doubt he'll see that because I don't see any way that this. Here's what happened in the trial. The judge that was, this was a jury trial, first of all. When it goes to the appellate court for appeals, there won't be a jury.
Okay.
It'll be the judge. Yeah. It'll be one federal court judge, and he will decide. This judge was known for, and this is why they wanted to go to him apparently for this. It was known for ruling against big business and stuff. Like, this is his thing. So, what I'm surprised about
behind the big businesses, it's us, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, like every single real estate agent or whoever works in the real estate industry. We are solopreneurs helping the entire nation move from A to B and provide jobs and work on the economy. That is such a short-sighted opinion. It's a big business.
Here's the other thing that's very interesting. They only deliberated for an hour and a half, the jury, before they came out and asked the judge, how do we do the punitive damages again? So they had already made up their minds in an hour and a half that they were ruling against the NAR. Yeah, it was incredible. Everyone was shocked. Everyone's like, what? How does this work? So the fact that it was done like that kind of tells me that it isn't going to make it through the appeal process.
Yet it's still terrifying. It's still terrifying because some other hungry attorneys will use it and will go after brokerages.
Well, that's why I'm with Remax. That's why I'm with Remax, and Remax settled a couple of weeks ago. They saw where this was going, and they saw how the trial. They saw how the trial was going to proceed, and they said, "Listen, we'll settle." So Remax cut a check for $55 million, and got off easy, got off cheap. So they ate $55 million, but they're out of the lawsuit.
Remax was part.
Yeah, they were part of it. They were named in the lawsuit, but they settled their own. They and who was the other one? Reology
Okay.
was the other company. They settled as well. They settled for like 87 million. And
But when you settle, isn't it like basically you're saying, you know, it's kind of like a gray area. I might be guilty, but I just want to settle.
I
That's
mean,
kind
as an avid Suits watcher on Netflix, which I love that show, I highly recommend it off the camera. It's a great show. So I feel like I know how to be a lawyer. Like I could just go out and be a lawyer right now. I've watched it so much. So no, the answer is they're going to, you know, basically the reason that you settle is you just see that it's going to cost this much and take this much time to fight it.
Yeah.
I'd rather just cut my losses.
Yeah.
Fine. Here you go. Here's your money. We settled out of court. You don't admit guilt that way on paper. Like you just settled. We just came to an agreement.
Okay.
However, Keller Williams and Berkshire Hathaway and the National Association of Realtors were found guilty. That's recorded. Like they were found guilty. So that's a different scenario. So the companies that got out of it quick, pretty smart. Because when they first settled, Nick Bailey, the Remax CEO, sent us all an email and said, "Here's why we settled." Da 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 da. You know, we kind of see where this is going, and you know, it's basically a witch hunt. Here's one of the things that's really crazy about it.
It's frivolous.
Actually,
totally frivolous.
It's super frivolous. It's ridiculous. That's why the whole real estate world is shocked by what happened. So they asked the lady was one of the witnesses. She was one of the plaintiffs, one of the 500,000 and she testified. Her mother was an agent for 30 years and sold lots and lots of houses. Probably gave them a pretty nice lifestyle, I would have to imagine, when she was growing up as a little girl. So it was total hypocrisy. Like this lady herself had bought 4 houses. They asked her, "Did you use an agent?" Yes. So it was okay then, right? It's okay as long as you're not paying it. But as soon as she sold a house and then had to, pay the buyer agent commission, that's when she started complaining. That's when, the Karen got mad and they all got together with this attorney and came up with this lawsuit. So it's silly. But what I wanted to do today was really just make anybody who's watching this as an agent understand that it's going to go through the appeals. Nothing's going to happen right now. They're not going to pass a law tomorrow and say all buyers agents have to go. That's not going to happen. The brokerages will do their own thing, which we suspect will be something related to just more disclosures, as if we need more forms.
Like adding another 50 pages to sign.
Exactly. That's what they'll do. And, but what I do want people to understand, and this is part of the whole Rockstar thing, is Barino always wanted us to be listing agents. Didn't want us to be buyers agents. We talked about that countless times. Don't want you wasting time with buyers. Farm them out to the buyer agents. You work on listings. That was his mantra. And now more than ever, that's what you need to be, because listing agents will survive this. Buyers agents, 80% of them or more will not. They will be gone. When this happens, now again, it's going to be years down the road. I'll probably be retired by then. I'll be playing golf every day. I don't know. I'm not going to be doing real estate at 70. I can tell you that much. So, but when it does happen, and it possibly could, buyers agents are going to be not needed, and what's going to happen is the buyers are going to go directly to the listing agent, which happens now as it is. Many of my listings, the buyers come to me directly because they think they're going to get a better deal. And guess what? I'll give them a better deal. You come to me directly for my listing, we'll work on it. I'll cut my fees. I'll cut my commission. I don't care. I'm making a better cut rather than paying another agent. That's a no-brainer. So it's going to happen that listing agents will not only survive, but in my opinion, thrive, because they're going to be sitting on top of the mountain. I've got the listings. Come to me, my children. Who wants my listing? They're going to be begging me for listings, and I'm going to be sitting there with all of them. So what I will tell the agents who are listening is sharpen your listing game. Make sure you're spending your time and money on getting listings, because this is where this is all heading. And it's very possible that in the next 10 years or less, we could all be listing agents. Like if you don't know how to list a house, you don't know how to get listings, you're going to be either behind the game or out of the game.
The game is
So
changing.
I think,
The
and
game
that's
is
what I'm doing
changing.
with my team. I have new agents. We're not even working on buyer stuff. I don't care about that. We're
Yeah.
going straight to listings. I'm teaching them from the start how to get listings, because listings are going to be how you survive this kind of shift in the market that could come. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with these next 7 lawsuits. Who knows? And one of the new plaintiffs is the NAR again. They're getting sued again. I said, oh no. So it was like 7 brokerages plus NAR again. So it's a dark day for real estate for sure.
Yeah.
Because again, now we look shady, we look bad, because a jury just said in 1.5 hours that we conspired to set these rates. We're all in guilty together. We're guilty of collusion. It was bad. It made us really look bad. So again, guys, what you want to do is just now more than ever, show your value. And one of the things I teach my team is make friends with your client. When you're going to get a listing, don't just be their agent, be their friend, because people if they like and trust you, they will do business with you. So now more than ever, they don't want, you don't want to be their agent, you want to be their friend, and they will stick with you.
Absolutely. And I would also add to it, educate yourself about the current situation, even if you don't follow news. This is something what you need to be aware of, and be prepared if your potential seller might bring it up. So how would you address it? Let's say I am.
So we have a seller that says, I don't
Let's
want to pay
role
my
play.
buyer's agent.
Again,
Okay, let's play that.
Let's role play. Okay,
All right.
I have a house. I have a house. This is my house, and I want to sell it.
I love it. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Okay. So we go through the house, we do our thing, we're sitting down and talking. I give you your number. I say, here's what I think we should list your house for. Now here's how the commission's going to work.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'll
You're
go
going to
like,
pay
well,
me.
but it's like, okay, I understand that you're my agent. You will help me to prepare the house. You will help me to find a stager and fix anything. You'll be doing marketing. But you know what? Like, okay, in my opinion, buyer's agent is doing not that much. They'll just bring someone. Can we skip that?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Can I pay less? I will still pay you, but I don't want to pay the buyer's agent. And I saw in the news, I read the Wall Street Journal about the lawsuits and, 500,000 plaintiffs. So how, I want to save money because I want to buy another house.
And that's fair, Mr. Customer, or Mrs. Customer, sorry. Mrs. Customer, that's fair. And you know what? I understand where you're coming from. So let me tell you this. Right now, the buyer's agents are still there. Okay. And right now, it costs the buyer $0 to use them. Okay. The buyer's agents have the knowledge, the technology to find the houses quicker than they could do it themselves. Now, look, I know people could jump on Zillow and Realtor.com and things like that and see the houses. That happens every day. But there are a lot of houses that aren't on the market that agents know about, pocket listings, stuff that's coming up that no one knows about. You will not have any access to those type of buyers if you don't have compensation for the buyer's agent. We will lose a percentage of our buyers. Also, because you're not willing to pay them anything, there are going to be a percentage of agents who just won't come. They're not going to come and do this for free. So you're going to show your house to far fewer people this way. Now, I will still do all I'm able to do as far as the marketing, and my marketing is very proactive. And there's a very good chance that I could find a buyer myself and, represent both of you, which has happened many, many times. However, the other agents have a lot more guaranteed buyers than I do, or that I could possibly find. So do we really want to limit the exposure for your house that way for what amounts to 2%? Or do you want to get the maximum number of buyers so we can sell it? Because you told me you wanted to sell your home quickly.
Yes. And for as much as
So, and you,
possible, because my house
of
is
course,
worth more.
it's the best house in the area. They always are. So, yeah. So, what I would want to do is get more exposure as quickly as possible. And the way we do that is we compensate the buyer's agent.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, since I train buyer's agents, let me do tell you this: they work hard. They work. I'll be honest with you, they work harder than I do. Okay, because when I come out to list your house, I'm working with you directly, one house. I drive here, I meet you, we do our paperwork, I order my pictures, I do my marketing and stuff. And that was one trip. I came to your house, we did that. Maybe I come out one more time for an inspection or something, but I'm not driving all over creation showing houses. You know, some of these poor buyer agents have to show 10, 15, 20, 30 houses. They're driving all over the place,
Mhm.
putting miles on their car, spending hours and hours with people, taking up their whole weekend and stuff, driving around showing the houses. They deserve to be paid for that. Plus, they're going to bring the expertise to the buyers to know what are the things you need to avoid in an inspection. Does this house qualify for this type of financing just by looking at it? Because we can do that. We can save time. We can show them the right house. So I don't know that they're not worth it. In fact, I would argue that maybe I'm not worth it. They're doing more work than I am, but because I have the listing, I have the power. And that's unfortunately that's the balance of how this thing works right now. Which is why,
I'll think
agents,
about
I'm
it.
telling you not to work with buyers. Get listings, but buyers will just take care of themselves.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, I was making notes while you were talking to me pretending that I'm a homeowner. Step number one, and I totally love it, and I use it in my businesses. You agree. If someone throws you something where you would immediately jump and disagree, don't do it. Always agree. I understand where you're coming from. I agree with you from your point of view. I loved it. Then step number two, you explain the role of buyer's agent. And that was very important because you somehow elevated their status as well, that they have their role. Number three, you explained the secret of pocket listings, and you gave me a sense of fear of missing out on potential buyers. And that's all what the buyer's agents have, and then you explain one more time that buyer's agent actually has to hustle. So that was great. I like the lineup. And toward the end, it was kind of emotional. Those buyer's agents
Yeah.
are driving for hours.
Those poor little people,
Showing
they're just
houses.
struggling out there.
But it's
And they
true.
want to take all their money away, and it's so sad.
It is true.
You
I
know?
hear stories after stories that buyer's agent might spend weeks or months looking for the ideal home, and then they change their mind. And then you have,
Last year,
yeah.
when the market was just insane and we were getting multiple offers on every single listing, one of the guys that was on my team then, I'm not kidding, wrote at least 30 to 40 offers for one client before one was finally accepted. He tried at least 30 to 40 times to write offers for this poor guy. And it took 6 months, 7 months to finally get this guy a house.
But it's
It
brutal.
was
Like you
ugly.
are in red. Like, but just
It's
with that one
brutal.
client, you are
It's
in red. You're
horrible.
basically not making any money. You're maybe compensated for all your gas expenses.
Now,
That's
see, look at
brutal.
me. I can manage 15 listings in half the time it took him to show all those houses.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's why I want these guys to get listings.
I think, Jim, we need to focus on helping rock stars, whoever is watching, how to get more listings, how to crush it in listing presentation, even expireds and FISBOs, right? I'm not sure
Definitely.
how many expireds we have out there right now because the
Well, let me
market.
tell you what, I'm
Yeah,
glad you brought that up because
yeah.
in the last 30 days, and I still call my expireds, I still watch them, and there was none for like a long time, very few. They trickle in. All
Uh-huh.
of a sudden, probably since the beginning of September, they're showing up every day. Like I'm seeing, I saw like 20 today that just showed up in my market.
Ooh, ooh,
So
I
all of a
see
sudden, expireds are a
potential.
thing. Yeah, expireds are a thing. And again, why is that? Because they want idiotic numbers. They're asking for last year's prices. Now the market's declining.
Yeah,
Interest rates are 4 times higher than they were last year.
Well, we
So
are over 8%, so I think that can
yeah,
play a role as well, because I heard a stories
absolutely.
of buyers actually walking away from a table after they had put a deposit money on a table because they just freaked out, or they, you
In
know,
January
finished.
of this year, you could get a 30-year fixed at 2.4. They're now over 8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
nobody
not
knows,
as
right?
many
It can go
buyers.
2 digits. It can. Yeah.
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 I'm afraid we're probably heading towards another, foreclosure boom,
Mm-hmm.
because all these people who bought it extremely inflated prices. Another thing that's interesting that I saw, this is a little off topic, but I think it's relevant to the agents who are watching. Credit card debt is at an all-time high right now.
Tell
It's
me more about it.
way higher than, yeah, credit card debt is at an all-time high. It's never been this high. The average American has 15,000 plus dollars in credit card debt.
It's like double from what I've seen last time. It used to be around
So
$7,000 to
yeah,
$8,000.
so what's happening now is you got all these people maxing out their credit card. They're going to want to go do a refinance on their house and pull out the equity, because they probably have a ton of equity at this point. But their rate's going to go from 2 or 3 to 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a real culture shock for them. And it's, I'm already seeing foreclosures in my neighborhood. I just saw one the other day. I haven't seen a foreclosure in 4 years probably.
Yeah.
And there one popped up. I said, holy crap. So, again, it's a cycle. And we're
Market
right
is
now we're at the down part of a 10-year cycle. It was delayed by COVID, because remember when a crash was 08.
yeah, money was free during COVID. I remember those times.
Right, and COVID was
Everyone
in
was
20, which was
buying.
right when in 2020, we should have just been in the 10-year drop for the market. Because if you look at the real estate market, it's a really amazing, but on a graph, it's almost a perfect up and down, like clockwork. It's really neat to see. But when COVID happened, it leveled off for a couple of years. And now we're on the down cycle. So COVID bought us some extra years from when it should have crashed. Or no, I shouldn't say crash. I don't want to use the word crash, but it started declining. We should have
Yeah.
been starting that 10-year decline. COVID boosted us up. And while everyone thought we were going to, go bankrupt during COVID, we ended up making more money than we ever had before. And it stayed that way for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, now, or 3 years, I should say. Well, now we're paying the piper. We've danced. We had a long dance. Now it's time to pay the
Okay,
fiddler.
so you're right now scaring all the newbies who might be listening
I'm sorry,
or
newbies, but I
watching,
gotta tell you the truth. I gotta
before
tell you the truth.
well, we need to shed the light on a situation before we'll say goodbye. But you know what? I have 2 questions. One, can I get you back on a jam session? Can we keep the conversation going?
Anytime you want.
And question number 2, if you were new in real estate, let's say less than 2 years, but however, you had a little bit more knowledge, what would you recommend to the newbies?
All right, well, this is a great question, because I have 3 on my team right now. They've all were licensed this year.
Uh-huh.
So they've not even been in it 6 months.
Oh,
They're brand new.
and they just
And
went
part
into
of
the
me
wild
is
west of
like,
real
oh
estate.
no. Part of me is like, what have you done? Oh God. But so here's what we do. We're listing agents.
Okay.
You're getting a crash course on how to get expireds and FSBOs,
Uh-huh.
because they are still out there and they are picking up every day. There are more of them than there was 6 months ago. So you adjust to what you can do. I can't control the number of buyers that are out there. I can't control the interest rates. They are what they are. But I will tell you guys this is probably the new normal. If you remember back to 08, that's when the crash happened. That's when they cut the interest rates to 4%. Okay. Before that, they were 6 and 7, and they had been 6 and 7 for many, many years. Back in the 80s, they were 16 and 17.
True.
So 6 and 7 was really normal. That was like the average rate for like 40 years. So only because of the crash, in 08 did it change. And then COVID happened next. So between those things, we kind of got, listen, I've been doing this 15 years. That whole 15 years, I had killer rates to work with. I had 4%, 3%, 2%. I mean, it was easy. It was like making money just hand over fist. Now it's adjusting back to where it had been before. This is probably going to be the new normal. And I don't think we'll ever see rates that low again, unless there's some catastrophic thing that happens.
Absolutely.
Unless
The
some,
government wants to
yeah,
help the industry and
yeah,
keep everything floating. Yes.
yeah. So I think that the fact is that you just kind of have to get used to this. Like, this is it.
This is
So
it, but you tapped into something what will be the topic going forward. We need to help agents to get more listings, to understand how to work FISBOs, to understand how to get
yes,
expired, get a confident communication. So I think we should push for more courses. What do you think?
I agree, 100%.
100%. Excellent. Well, time is up. Thank you so
Okay,
much, Jim, for all your wisdom and even the humor.
my
You were
pleasure.
able to sprinkle some humor into this horror story.
Listen, if you don't laugh at this, you're going to go hang yourself somewhere. So I mean, it's kind of scary. I mean, I'm not going to kid these agents. It's spooky. I mean, I've never seen rates this high.
Yeah.
I mean, as a realtor, and I was a lender previous to being a realtor since '99. So I did plenty of loans at 6, 7, 8%.
Yeah.
That was normal to me because remember, credit cards were 26 and 27% back then. So it's all relative. But the fact is that what drives the rates is the 10-year yield on the treasury bond, and it's up. And if it's up, rates are up, and that means the economy, the job market is actually doing very well. Even though people don't think it is, it actually is. And that's what's driving the rates up. The reason they went down before was because of the crash, and they just stayed down. And then COVID, when COVID came, they slashed them even further. They
Yeah.
wanted people spending money during COVID. That's why we had our best years ever during COVID. I thought COVID was the best thing, man. I was like, this is awesome. Holy cow, we're selling every house. So it's just how it was. And
It
right
was such
now,
a
everything's
harvest.
over.
I still remember how we were, okay, guys, just disclaimer, I have home staging businesses, but we were flying with the furniture, and I did not really understand back then that this shall end. I thought like
No
this
one
is
did.
gonna be forever. It was awesome. And then it came
Listen,
to a
it's
stop, a brutal stop, and I went like, oh, we are going back to 2018, 2019. So we had to pivot.
yeah, and it's human nature. You don't want the good times to end. Like, this is great, man. But then you look at that graph, and it goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. And that's, now we're in a down, and it's going to probably last 2 or 3 years.
Well,
So we have to learn
the
new
good thing
things.
is, I think another like tiny little good thing is that over the last couple of years, there was a huge influx of agents. Basically,
A massive influx.
anyone thought, oh, I like
Yeah.
houses, I can sell houses, I can buy houses. So I think those who are really not dedicated, they'll be gone. So it will
That's why
clean up the industry a little bit.
that's why in Florida we had such a shortage of teachers, because they all left teaching to go do real estate. There was like a ton of, last year we had 31,000 brand new agents in Florida. 31,000. Yeah.
Wow.
It's madness.
Teachers can do good realtors.
Teachers, I mean, one of my favorite people that was on my team many years ago was a teacher. And she was great. She was awesome.
But we need teachers. Okay. So you teachers go back to teaching, please, because kids need
please go back to
need you
teaching, because the kids need you. And it's gonna happen, Hannah. I mean, again, this hasn't been this way in 25, 30 years, where you've had high interest rates and no inventory. See, that's the other problem. We don't have enough inventory. So it's kind of like a perfect storm of problems to deal with. That's why listings are sitting longer. That's why, because again, when you get a listing, that's great, but you still need a buyer to want to pay 8% interest to buy it. And unless the buyer is in a situation where they have to buy, what we don't have right now is we don't have the frivolous buyer. The one that showed up during COVID that just said, I got my money from the government, I got my stimulation check, and I'm going to buy a house. You don't have those now. Now you got people who say, listen, I'm being transferred, I'm getting a divorce, my wife passed away, whatever. I have to sell my house. That's what you're getting. You're not getting the, I just want to do it because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, it's back to reality, back to 2018, where we were. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. But you know what? If you remember 2018, the rates were low.
Yeah.
We still had killer low rates.
Yeah.
So again, this is what's going to be different. This is going to be a mind shift for these agents who haven't been through this and haven't seen these rates, because like I said, I expect it's going to be the new normal for years to come. You're
And
going
we'll
to
have to work
people are still
smarter.
going to buy houses.
Yes.
All right. They're still going to buy houses. They still need a place to live. They're still not going to want to pay the high rents, because rents are up too. Remember, if the prices on the houses are up, rents are up too.
Mhm.
So, it's got to be a give and take. There's got to be a balance in there. And right now it's too skewed in one direction. But over time, it'll swing back to the middle. And then we'll have a nice balanced market for like 5 or 6 years. And then we'll do it all over again. So that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we'll keep watching what's happening with that crazy lawsuit. And
yeah, and I don't know, can I plug my blog? Am I allowed to, like, on here? I have a YouTube series that I'm starting in Tampa. It's called Real Estate Reality Tampa. Watch it, because I talk about this stuff. And I give you it's called reality for one reason. I did not want to be a cheerleader. I was not going to go on YouTube and say, everything's great, come and buy houses. I don't want to be that way. I wanted to tell you the truth. Here's what's going on. Here's how things are. Here's how they're probably going to stay for a while. And this is what you have to do to remain in the game. So definitely get me some followers on that. It's brand new.
Absolutely.
We just recorded our second one today. So, but hopefully it goes viral and I can retire.
The real life of a real estate agent. I think that's important because even HGTV is completely. I don't want to be cursing here, but
no, it's silly.
Such a poison for real estate industry and home staging industry, because everyone thinks it's just so easy. So anyway, we gotta go. Jim, thank you so much for going 15 minutes over time.
I'm sorry if I owe you money, let me know.
No, with you I can be chatting for hours, but we need to be considerate to other meetings we have planned, and I will pull you to another jam session and behind the scene. Let's talk about your upcoming boot camp. Maybe we can cook something for December. And you will
just call me anytime. We'll talk it out. We'll put a plan together. I'm in.
Absolutely. And you guys who are watching or listening, if you would like Jim to teach you more about FSBOs or expired, please chime in and let us know, and we'll make it happen. So thank you so much.
And if you have any questions on the Rockstar page, tag me and I'll answer them for you. I'll help you out.
Do it.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys. You have a good time, good days, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, Hannah. Thank you.
Bye.